Okay guys, I wanted to go over the work from yesterday. Happy Wednesday, happy April Fool's Day, happy April. Hope everyone has an awesome day today. Complete the table. In the row with the X as the input, write a rule as an algebraic expression for the output. Then complete the last row of the table using the rule. Okay, so when they asked for that X, that was probably the biggest mistake here, but overall this was looking really good. Okay, so they gave you, remember, input. So if we graphed this, this would be your x-axis, and that would be your y. This would be your x-axis. This would be your y, x and y. So now we've got another couple of words for the x and the y. Remember, we also called them the independent variable and the dependent variable. Okay, so remember, the cost depends on how many tickets you buy. So you can see the relationship here. So it's obviously, we're multiplying by 20. If you didn't know that, remember, you just divide the y by the x to get that constant. Okay, so then I apply the rule here for 10. 10 times 20 is 200. So if you look here, the x is bigger than the y, right? So you could have said 1/2. You could write it this way, or you could write it as a 0.5. Any of those is fine. You could just write it as a 1/2. I like you to see a couple different ways to write x times 1/2, okay? Because you could have said x times 1/2 is the same thing, but then the x times 1 is the x. That's why it looks better to write it that way. So 2 times 0.5 would be 1, half of 10, half of 20, and then of course half of 30 is 15. If you look here, guys, you have the constant right away because you have y, y's 1. So you know that that's going to be the constant. So that was not too bad. And then you just multiply this by that to get $27. Okay, everyone did a really good job here. It says determine whether each relationship is a function. Remember, that would be the input or the output. It is a function because each input, there's only one answer for each input. Okay, this one was not a function because 4, if you look at the input, they have 4 twice and there's 2 different outputs, so that would not be considered a function. If you just look at this graph here, weights and shipping costs, remember, that's your x, that's your y, input, output, independent variable, dependent variable. I'm just looking at my input and it looks like there's only one output for each x, so it is a function. Each input x is paired with only one output y. And then this was pretty good here too. It said, what are 4 different ways of representing functions? Mapping diagrams, which are these? These are mapping diagrams, tables, graphs, and just ordered pairs themselves. You could just have a list of ordered pairs: 3, 20, 4, 25, 5, 30, 4, 35, and you'd say right away, whoops, there's 2 4s, 2 inputs that have 2 outputs. And then it said, how can you tell if the relationship is a function? A relationship is a function if each input is paired with only one output value. Okay, guys, you need to do a Google form, Glow and Grow, on this assignment, and then you're also going to work on page 159 and 160. You're just going to do 8 through 14. Have a great Wednesday.